Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third episode at the MFT pod. Your host, me, Flemex, and here my co-host, the one and only, the TakeOn, who has finally came back. And we had a little bit of delay on recording the episode because, to be honest, we usually record on Wednesdays, but we had a friend who usually disappears and he comes back and finds us at the most random spots and he decided to kick it with us that specific day. And it turned out to not have enough time because afterwards the take on had to do some personal things and I had to do some other personal things late at night. So we apologize for that. And yeah, take
We
on
hope
any
that you
words?
enjoy. We hope that you enjoy our episode. Honestly, what do you think about what's been going on these past few days?
To be honest, I feel like it's been very, very slow, but I do want to talk about, besides the whole wrestling thing, I want to talk about your trip. Welcome back. You finally came back from Mexico last week. I'm so happy. I was getting a little bored. I'm not being able to text you.
Thank you. Yes, I am finally back. I honestly did not want to come back. I didn't want to come back. The time over there in Mexico it's a very chill vibe. The time there goes very slow compared to here. I feel like when you're not doing nothing, the time goes by quick.
I
Just
know,
as
and
quick as when you're busy. But over there, you could be chilling for like a cool minute, and you look at your phone, your watch, whatever, and you start to realize that not much has gone by. You're like, wow. And then you step outside, everybody's just chilling outside, doing their own thing. The way I've noticed over there in Mexico City, everybody there is like, they're just there to do them, and there's no judgment. And it's very free to express yourself, especially when you're walking down the streets and going into a park. I once saw going into a park where there's like people either playing instruments or being a DJ, playing some cumbia, any other any other Spanish kind of genre of music, and you just see casual people just walking past by there, and they just start to dance. And when you look at that here in the at least here in LA, it's very it's something that you will be so quick to talk trash about and judge when they're just literally doing them. They're just dancing, having fun. Some people just like to dance like that. But in Mexico, at least in Mexico City, it was pretty normal. Same thing with PDA, public display affection. It was normal. It was like nobody really noticed that was happening. You're just going about your day. At least right here, it's like get a room. But I went to both Consejo and Triple A shows. Consejo was honestly, I couldn't believe that I was in Mexico until I arrived to Arena Mexico. Um, some people may think it's, how can I explain it? If you've been to Mexico before, you know what to expect. You know everything and like the environment and just how the aesthetic of things are over there. So I expected that, and but it just hit me that I was in Mexico City once I arrived to Arena Mexico, because I had arrived in Mexico on Thursday morning, 5 in the morning. My girlfriend and I had to find a spot until we had to wait until our Airbnb became available to us. From there, just left our luggages and explored around the area. It was pretty cool, very very packed. You'd be surprised that a lot of people over there go out. It's very rare to see the streets pretty lonely. And over here, you'll notice that like there will be some slow days, but over there, everything is happening. It's just a very different atmosphere. But Consejo overall, the presentation is just straightforward matches, like hardly any promos. And overall, the production is just, I don't know. I really like the production of Consejo Mundial. I I was sitting front row seats, just enjoying everything that was happening right in front of me. Arena Mexico, at least like everything there, there's a certain way to be there. I will say that. I know that I stood up once, and I understand it could be it's rude for people behind you that are watching and they're not standing, so you're essentially covering the entire thing. So it's reasonable, but in Consejo, at least the guards there, they do ask you to sit down. So I did that once, and I was like, oh wow, my bad. So I sat down, and you just basically they have you be a courteous fan. You could talk all the shit you want or trash. Excuse my language. You could talk all the trash you want, but you gotta be courteous to the people around you to watch the action, especially when you're in the front row seats. Um, yeah, everything was just straightforward. I would say that I was there in the Consejo show from beginning to end. Because everything was going all right. It was on a Friday, so it was on my second day of Mexico City. It was late at night. My Airbnb wasn't that far from Arena Mexico, so it was either way we still Ubered it, just because you just never know as you're walking over there, and you try to keep it safe as well. So we Ubered it to Arena Mexico, and yeah, it wasn't that far. It was amazing. Arena Mexico has people that like are walking past by the seats just selling, so you don't have to get out of your seat to go buy. You could just call the waiter, or excuse my not familiarity of those terms, but you see the worker passing by, and you could just call them that you want to order something, and they'll bring it to you. So that was a cool experience. Arena Mexico has this really beautiful portrait where it has like all the famous luchadors throughout Consejo's history, and it was a very beautiful portrait. The main event was Mystico versus Kushida. That was a very good match. It had a lot of people invested, of course. There's a lot. It was a very cool experience. However, it's a different vibe the next day is when you go to a Triple A show. And before I even talk about Triple A show, may I share that I got super sick on that Saturday, the next day, literally after the Consejo show. Once I came out of the Consejo show, I was cool. Had a couple drinks, and I was good. But early in the morning, I just woke up and just threw up and threw up and threw up. I was constantly throwing up on all Saturday, and it almost got to the point where I was like, man, are we gonna make it to the Triple A show? Because like I paid front row seats for that too, and I just kept throwing up. Anything I ate, anything I drank, I puked it out. Until I tried a sal de uva, which, how would you translate that in English?
I think it's just called, it's like
Sal
that
de uva?
pico. Yeah. It's
Pico.
just like baking soda with like lemon. I think that's the perfect way to say it. For you to burp, right?
Essentially, yeah, it just lets you release whatever you have stuck in there. And I had that mixing it with the electrolyte what is it? What are those? The sueros?
Electrolytes?
Yeah, electrolyte. So I had that mixing it with the sal de uva, and I was trying so many remedies, and I don't know what worked. But we got to Triple A show, and we got there kind of late. I will say that I feel like we're probably there for like the last 3, 4 matches. But it's a different vibe, bro. It's a different vibe. Everybody there, aside from Consejo, like having the fans doing their trash talk, Triple A is, man, you could see the difference. It's literally Mexican WWE. A lot of a lot of drama, and a lot of spots that like get people emotionally invested. Like where I wasn't the only couple there. There was more couples in the front row seats, and even the guys' girlfriends would be screaming, especially for La Parca. La Parca was getting such a huge ovation because you just hear the song Thriller by Michael Jackson and everybody's like, ooh, we know who's gonna come out. And you just see like the whole dance setup with a bunch of Michael Jackson clones and just doing the dances with La Parca. And, it was a cool experience, very cool. A lot of people talking their trash. And it's very hard to not join them because it's an infectious energy that you just don't get here in the US. In every wrestling show that I've been, and I could count them from my hands because I haven't really. I would say I've gone to quite a few already. Maybe I could probably count more than the fingers on my hand, but the experience is just different. I mean, the indie is a lot more intimate because it's a lot more smaller, but man, when it's in Mexico, especially in a very big venue, like people just scream, they bring their horns. It's okay to wear a mask there. That's how cool it is. So it's not embarrassing to be a wrestling fan there. Everybody essentially likes it. The last match in AAA got a lot of people emotionally invested. And it was with, a lot of, there was a lot of spots that, again, maybe to other fans, it's not their cup of tea, but it definitely, there is a fan base for that. And you could see that still working with WWE's acquisition towards AAA. So I could see that working. I could see it still working. There may be some changes. Who knows? We have yet to know that. But just the show AAA, after we found out the acquisition, it wasn't that any different than what you would see in any other AAA show. I mean, it's...
Sorry to interrupt. Because a lot of hardcore fans are not fond to AAA. They think it's just like a mockery. But I mean, as you, in your opinion, what show did you prefer and why? Because, to be honest, as my parents, they grew up watching both Consejo and AAA. And from my mom's perspective, it was more of like she liked AAA because it was just like a circus. Essentially, that's what she compared it to.
Mm-hmm.
Same with my dad. It was more of like just a chill vibe, just watching people just. It's literally the WWE, but in Spanish.
Literally, man.
And obviously, CMLL is just Consejo Mundial is more of a hardcore fans. They love the wrestling, and I mean, shout out to TakeOn because he brought Mystico mask, which I have yet to pay him. So good thing I reminded myself. But going back to the question I asked, sorry to sidetrack, is what show did you prefer, honestly?
I appreciate wrestling from the art and sport of it. So Consejo, just watching everything up close and how the emphasis on it, I really like that. However, as like you mentioned with your parents, AAA is just a vibe. It's literally lucha circus. You see a lot of crazy things. I saw Psycho Clown there. It's just a lot of people just get very invested with the very outlandish gimmicks in AAA. My girlfriend enjoyed AAA. I asked her, and she told me straight up that she really preferred AAA. Even though we
why?
were there kind of late. What happened?
Why did she prefer that show over the other one? If you don't mind me asking.
What do you mean?
Like, why did she prefer the Triple A show?
Why did I prefer?
No, why did she prefer the other show?
There's a lot of shock. There's a lot of shock value. There's a lot of drama, bro.
So you think
And
it appeals more to the casuals, right?
yes, definitely, definitely.
So people who literally aren't geeking over wrestling and taking it to, uh, you know what I'm trying to say. They take it too serious. So if you, as a casual fan, just don't care about the booking, you're just in there to watch the show, you would find it enjoyable then, right?
Yes, and the thing about it is that it's because there you can make a lot of memes out of like funky wrestling, and so that's something that can come to casuals. My girlfriend will be sending me wrestling memes, and it's either like those comedy indies, or it will be like Triple A, Lucha, or WWE stuff, and it's something that casuals will understand the humor of, but you're playing wrestling with it. You hardly see that with any other promotion, and that's essentially how that's their reach towards casuals. Like, you know how there's those memes that say if wrestling is fake, then explain this.
Yeah.
Like, it's those kind of things that even casuals reach and they have a good laugh at it. They're like, yeah, wrestling is fake, but the humor of like the irony is trying to defend it, but yet you're showing something that's just very outlandish, very you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. No, I get what you mean. It's just kind of funny how people kind of just take it up too seriously. And it's just about having a good time, to be honest.
It was fun, man. It was
As long as you have fun, you experience both shows, you couldn't criticize, you were just there as a fan. I think that's a W.
definitely, definitely. And I brought home a ton of masks. Just speaking of Flemex getting a Mystical mask, I got quite a few masks. I think I overdid it, but essentially now that I'm looking back, it was essentially almost like me, as corny as it sounds, healing my inner child, if that's what it is. I bought myself a Abismo Negro mask. I bought myself a Cibernetico mask. I bought myself a Rouge mask. I bought myself a Penta mask. All those masks, I don't know. It was just like, damn, I can't believe I have those masks. I I only had La Sombra, Andrade's old mask, Andrade El Idolo's mask. That's the only mask I had. And now I have Rouge, which honestly, it kind of feels like I got the complete costume now. I could dress like either or one of them, like in a costume occasion, for example. Occasion, my bad. But it was yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. I really liked your mystical mask. It fits like a beanie.
I have it with me right now.
I
Literally.
got my Rouge mask right here. That's
It's
the
along
one
my
that I
desk right now. It's dope. Like literally, like I'm so grateful and I appreciate the gesture. Cause obviously if we buy it here, shipping is expensive and I'm too cheap.
Woo! Yeah, man. I mean, I believe it or not, La Sombra mask. I bought that online because I needed a Halloween costume and I wanted to dress like him, but in his Los Ingobernables form. So I hold on a second. My cat's about to jump off, and I don't want him to jump on anything. But um, yeah. So that mask was kind of pricey. Um, I would have to scroll back to my account to see how much I spent for that, but I will say that I spent less on these masks from Mexico. I spent less than what I did for that La Sombra mask. Each mask that I bought was within the range of 500 to 700 pesos. So that is between 20, 25 to 35. At most 40. In the US, at least through eBay, you're looking at about 50, 60, maybe 70, who depending on how much the vendor's selling it to you. You're looking at about spending more than you would spend in Mexico. So I went all out, and I don't regret it. But yeah, that's it was an amazing trip. I even went on the hot air balloon, and I saw the pyramides. I have a hard time pronouncing it, because I don't know how to speak that language. But pyramides de Teno Tenochtitlan. Tenochtitlan. There you go.
Sick asshole. At least you're not a no sabo.
Teotihuacan. Yeah, so I
There
went
you
to the
go. You got
pyramids
it.
at Teotihuacan, and it was an amazing sight. It was like an entire package deal of like how the trip was organized. Like we literally had to wake up before 5 in the morning. They picked us up. At first, I was very skeptical about that. I was like, like why are we spending this much? And the whole plan is like we get picked up and I just found it very skeptical, and I was just like very looking closely into the reviews. But we did it anyway. They picked us up at 5 in the morning. They drove us to out in the valley. I think I don't not sure. See, it's in Estado de Mexico, Edomex. So we just left Mexico City to Estado de Mexico. So that was like about an hour long drive. But it first started with that hot air balloon, and then after that we had breakfast. Then they drove us to some place where there was like people like sharing us like the artifacts around the area there. And I bought some stuff for my family. I felt like I had to bring some stuff for them to, stuff from over there. And
Overall, you had fun, and I'm jealous because I need to go back to.
man, I really do hope you do go. It's an amazing experience. You have to experience that show vibe.
In general, would you recommend anybody that's not from Mexico and have any traveling ideas or any plans to go traveling? Do you think Ciudad Mexico is a great spot for them to go, and as a wrestling fan, have the opportunity to go see a Consejo uh, event or a Triple A show?
100%, 100%. I would just recommend that if of course if you're not native there, stay low, don't stand out. Even though there are a lot of like non-Mexican people there, again, you rather be safe, So, but other than that, yes, I would 100% recommend. It's an amazing experience. The lucha crowd is infectious. It's infectious. It's something that I deeply miss now because, man, you just scream out a lot of profanity and, man, I don't know. It's something that you could really catch in an indie show. Essentially, when you go to a lucha show, it's like you're going into an indie show, but in reality, it's a really big promotion that, that's just the vibe. That's just how the vibe in Mexico is.
Yeah,
Like
and they're
people are
under underestimating the potential that uh us Mexicans can bring. I mean, as you can see, the fact that the CMLL and AEW show they have been upcoming literally sold out, and I know that crowd is gonna be crazy. I 100% know that WWE is gonna 100% watch that and see how the crowd reacts, and they're gonna want that same reaction when they go and do their own little shows or live events with
mm,
Triple A. So that's gonna be a very interesting thing to watch, to be honest.
honestly, there may be people that are mad about what's going on, but honestly, I'm looking forward to it. I'm so excited that I live in a timeline right now where I'm seeing WWE, AEW, Triple A, and Consejo, two pro wrestling promotions in North America Like just having like a, I mean, we can't deny it. It's like it's a war.
It's very interesting, especially
It,
to all the unks that were during the WCW and WWF.
it sucks that we weren't around that time. We're Gen Z, but we're a lot closer to millennials than we are to Gen Z, as I found in the article 2.0. But we weren't alive, and anytime that I've heard many of you guys how wrestling was back in the day, I it's something that I'm like, damn, it's unfortunate I wasn't there to experience that. But right now that we are seeing, as I've always said, we're experiencing a pro wrestling boom. We're seeing AEW, a sec the top two American promotion, aligning with Mexico's top and prestigious promotion CMLL, and now it's going against WWE, who's like already established here in America and already acquired AAA, who was just basically that missing piece for them to bring into the Mexican market.
And let's see how they do. And speaking of how, I was talking to you like last week, I believe, how I feel like Dominik Mysterio should really have a notable act in AAA. He should really, the heat he has, the crowd popping for him in WrestleMania. I feel like and he's Intercontinental Champion. I don't know if it's coincidental, but I genuinely think that the Booker, either TKO or Triple H, they really need to take advantage of that pop and bring him to be the center. Obviously, it's going to be Vikingo. That's not, it's kind of obvious, right? They're not going to have Alberto, uh, be the face or the heel of the company, but I genuinely do want him to be a notable act in this new merger. I feel like it would benefit him carrying that Intercontinental Champion and pretty much proving himself that he is both in the U.S. and in Mexico, and he could pretty much branch out anywhere.
100%, I agree. And I mean, you already seen WWE already having like these little minor agreements with other companies to have to showcase their talent. I mean, you already saw. We're seeing Natalia
And
Hart.
in NWA,
So we're seeing a lot of interesting things. I mean, and then we've seen people on GCW, which we will talk about depending on how Flemex feels about the topic. But yeah, there's WWE has already shown that they are open to those kind of agreements and deals. So there's no telling that we can see that happening with them acquiring AAA. And I do agree, Dominik Mysterio should be a notable act in AAA. The amount of heat. If you remember when WWE had a live show in Mexico, Dominic had one of the he was over as a heel. People were just booing him just because of just how well he's known on ridiculing Rey Mysterio. But it would be cool if he wounds up having a match with Vikingo. It would be interesting. Like you could just see both futures of lucha, like just going all out in that match with Dominic's American style and Vikingo just doing his regular lucha stuff. It would be an interesting thing to watch. I'm totally excited for this.
I know. I'm actually. I hope that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, it's not up to us, but that's something I would 100% would want for Dominic to have, especially with the merger and stuff like that. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Another topic that I was gonna bring up is pretty much how AEW is just kind of thriving on their own, right?
They're
They're
doing
doing
fine.
well. I think they beat NXT recently. I think last week. So shout out to them. I mean, they're just doing their own thing. I feel like this is the best thing AEW has done since the long time. I obviously don't watch the show religiously. Same with the WWE, but I keep on, obviously.
They're doing pretty fine right now. Right now, the thing is, Tony Khan is getting clowned on because Mina Shirakawa made her debut, and her entrance did not have her theme song that she came out with before. So a lot of people were mad, like they were just complaining on Twitter, and Tony Khan saw that. Like I guess in the middle of the match, he was just scrolling down through Twitter, and he saw a lot of fans being mad at that that the theme song for Mina Shirakawa was
Was it
changed.
generic?
Yeah, but I will say that it's not something that Def Rebel would do. But I don't know. I would probably want you to. I would rather you check it out so that way you can make that judgment. But
So he
it will.
changed it back? He brought it back then, or he
Yeah,
bought the
so when she won,
license?
he brought the theme song back.
Sick asshole. That's why a lot of people like TK, man.
Hey man,
But
he makes a lot of people feel heard. That's the reason why the take on exists.
you know what's making other people hurt is Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega's comments over the WWE. Did you see them?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where Will Ospreay pretty much says, yeah, they have this fool, and that fool. But I'm better. Even on my shittiest day, I'm better than them. What do you think?
PR man, PR. He's really trying to wave the flag. We're the best wrestler. But you see
And
a lot of
can
people getting triggered too because they'll say no selling Osprey. But again, AEW is just a different style. That's just the way it is. But Kenny, he is not wrong. I completely agree. I completely agree with his comments. You just see that happening in the direction with WWE. They already brought Logan Paul. They brought Bad Bunny, which I have tremendous respect for Bad Bunny because
Bad Bunny cannot be
that
talked
the man is
bad
mob.
about him. The amount of effort, work he did, and he continues doing, unlike Travis Scott, where he just pulls up, smokes a blunt, and then just calls it a day. To be honest, that shit is ridiculous. I'm just a fan of his shoes, but him involved in the WWE is kind of like, eh.
Speaking of shoes, we're gonna have to talk about that shortly about
Oh,
Swerve.
about Swerve's,
I
you're
want
not good. Whoever buys those, you have terrible taste in shoes, honestly.
Why is
And
that?
you,
Please explain. I want you to explain your shoe knowledge and enthusiasm. I want you people to know that Flemex also has a thing with shoes, and he will explain to you why
okay.
these shoes
During
are
my
not all that.
2016 to 2020 era, I think I would be considered a high beast. Was it worth it? Not really. But at the point is that I was super into shoes. I think I gotten up to like 100 pairs in my closet. Um, but that's besides the point. The point is Swerve's shoes are just terrible. They're, they're just awful. They're just not good. And anybody that catches, good on you, you know. You have the money, you can wear whatever you want. But it's just, ugh. I don't know. What do you think? Am I just, but they just look cheap.
They got that Black Panther design.
They just look cheap and I don't know. Who's gonna wear this?
You don't think they're gonna be of value in StockX?
No, they're not. They're not gonna be of value. They just look ugly. Why
What do
would
you think about
anybody
these
wear?
shoes?
I don't know. I feel like,
Like when you heard of them, what did you think?
mm, I don't know. Personally, I'm not a fan of Reebok. Second of all, I wouldn't wear these unless, I mean, they look like basketball shoes and I'm pretty sure, but I mean, I don't know. It's corny. Whose house?
Worst house. But what's it called? We're going back to Osprey and Kenny Omega's comments. I definitely agree because again, you see celebrities like Bad Bunny. Again, Travis Scott is already involved in this product, and you're kind of like, why? Why? You know, why? Like,
It just brings no value, to be honest. And I'm gonna get to that point, but essentially is what was the point of it? And I think we talked about it in the other episode where the Rock is involving himself into these storylines and it's just backtracking them, and it's just to a point where the creative writers or the board of writers are just kind of stuck into the middle of like, what the fuck are we gonna do now? So now that he integrated Travis Scott to, I guess, promote, literally, come on, man, like he's not doing anything. Every casual fan, every nostalgia fan, every person that just wanted to watch the WWE was just to see John Cena win number 17, essentially. Travis Scott was not needed in that. Personally, for me, I may be wrong, which I'm gonna get to a point where it's like Cena's heel run, sorry, has just been lackluster. It's been underwhelming. Like, I genuinely thought that it was gonna go to the storyline of the match he had with Bray Wyatt and just pretty much saying that he's washed and he doesn't want to wrestle anymore because he doesn't have it in him anymore. And he's just getting to a point where he has to do things under pretty much devaluing his values and pretty much betraying his own values to win and finally get this achievement. Because all the matches he's gone up to since he went to Hollywood have been him losing. Like, come on, like he lost against Austin Theory, Solo, etc., etc. So now the gimmick is more of like, well, it's because you fans are just terrible to me, and it's like, okay, I got the first promo, and now it's just the same thing, the same thing, the same thing, and I get the gimmick. I'm gonna ruin wrestling for you, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. Personally, he's washed. Let's be honest. He's a washed man. He gave all his years to the Federation, and at this point, the man needs to rest. But to be honest, if you tell me, the only reason why I'm not watching these matches, pure nostalgia. Pure nostalgia. I'm not gonna expect a 5-star match, I'll go back to the Ospreay's comments where the best wrestler is AEW, and it is true. I would rather watch an AEW match than a John Cena wrestling match in 2025. Why? Because AEW actually do wrestle. And like I said, the whole gimmick of, I'm gonna ruin wrestling for you. Okay, I get it. I get it. That's the whole point of the gimmick. But there's no interest in me watching it.
Well, he's definitely ruining wrestling unintentionally. But yeah, I agree with you. And I'm starting to see it. I know for a bit I was growing a fan of like Cena's run because it was good in the beginning, and we all can agree with that. But just now, as long as it's been dragging, it's just, where is this going? Like we've already heard what's been going on with like the
Oh,
guys going up in corporate. So now you're kind of like, where are you guys gonna take this? Like,
like I said,
I just be wondering what John Cena is thinking about it,
like I
or
said,
or he's just
I,
getting
ge-
a check.
I genuinely think it's more of like Dwayne involving in TKO wanting viral moments and wanting these moments to be breaking records constantly, but the product isn't just improving. I don't know. That's just me. And when people say that, oh, John Cena's heel run is spectacular, and I think we talked about it in the first episode, and it contradicts what I'm saying, because it's like, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. I'm excited to see what his run is going to lead to, and that's what my prediction was. It was more of leading up, like, yeah, I'm washed as fuck, and I have to do anything to do to win. But it's just more of like viral moments. It's like the match that's on Saturday Night Live against R-Truth. Brother, who booked this crap? Please. So you're telling me that you, as a fan, you would rather watch that? I don't even know what's gonna happen over a Kenny Omega match. It's crazy to me. And it is true. At this point, they're gonna involve like a Mr. Beast versus Logan Paul, a Speed versus Kai Cenat or something like that. It's just viral moments is what the Fed is looking for, and
TKO.
why I say that Cena's heel run is so underwhelming and lackluster, and I blame TKO for wanting viral moments, wanting these moments I get the long-term storytelling, but it's just not there for me. We had Backlash, whatever to me. I didn't see anything. Well, what exciting thing happened was, um, Jeff Cobb going in and then changing his name to a ridiculous name, JC Mateo. Goodness, what is going on with this company? But yeah,
JD
that's enough
McDonough.
rant from me.
JD McDonough. Oh man, dude, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. TKO. Have you watched that video? Have you by any chance ran into that video of like how the ring? How they talk about how the ring is just like an ad canvas. It's no
TKO
longer. Yeah.
TKO is just ruining it, to be honest, and that's what the Federation gets. Because, like I said, they're
Ticket
making
sales
a
are
shit ton of money.
expensive.
They're making so much money, dude. Every pay-per-view, oh, Blockbuster, this, sell out arena, sell out this, most merch, most, like things, etc., money, uh, ad revenue, sponsorships, deals, and stuff like this. And they release people just like Dakota Kai. I get it. Some people just aren't meant to succeed, right? They get stuck in catering. They don't get that pop from the fandom of the WWE. But it just gets to a point where it's like this company is making so much money from the fans, and the fans are just being given mediocrity. And that's simple as it is. They're getting
Media,
mediocrity.
mediocrity.
Mediocrity where it's like the fans are just supposed to like Triple H is, it's like you gotta shut up and you gotta be a fan. It's like pretty much then telling them like, here, whatever we give you, you'll be content. Whether you like it or not, you'll still watch. And it is true. But it's just mediocrity, which is why I never watch a full Raw show or a SmackDown show or an AEW show. Cause it's just like, eh. Anyways, enough of my rant. You see what I get to a point where it's like,
I hear you. I hear you. You know, I ran into this like I've noticed this comparison. I wanted to point out another comparison on like how both companies uh deliver content on social media. I'm not sure if you've noticed this too, but ever noticed that New Japan, Consejo, AEW, they started posting clips of like highlights of matches. Have you by any chance ran into any of that?
I don't think I have.
I've been running into quite a few lately, and it's
Oh
pretty
wait,
cool.
you have shared it to me. Yes,
Yes,
you shared some quite, yeah. Not that I ran into, but you shared it with me. They've been good, dude. It's like you can't compare that type of quality of wrestling with the
that
WWE.
that's amazing social media content, bro. It emphasizes in-ring action. There could be people saying where's the selling it or where's the story all they want. At the end of the day, it's wrestling. It's wrestling, which is
It's
something
because
that WWE doesn't. They're not gonna do that unless they have a JD McDonough match versus. Give me another workhorse name.
Penta,
Okay, there you go.
Sheamus,
Chad
Drew,
Gable.
Chad
You're
Gable.
not.
Yes,
You're gonna. That's the only time you're ever gonna have those kind of clips from WWE because those guys can deliver matches. But generally speaking, you're not gonna see that in a John Cena match or in a Randy Orton match. All those slow paced matches, you're not gonna see that because you need the commentators to explain the story, why they're doing what they're doing. Know what I'm saying?
no, yeah. It's just that a lot of fans don't give a chance to watch AEW or other shows because they've been filled with mediocrity. Yeah, I think that's gonna be our new word. The word of the
Mediocrity.
day, mediocrity.
Hey, I thank John Cena for that. He's drilled that word into our minds when he said that he doesn't bury talent. He is a talent. He buries mediocrity. I
It's
was
just
like, man,
mediocre, dog. It's just not. It's just average. It's just average television. It's just, which is why I will never go against the comments that Ospreay did, because it's true. The WWE is succeeding in drama. It's succeeding in tickets. It's succeeding in this, but they're not succeeding in wrestling. And there's so many people that are probably meat writing it, and it's just like, no, but our storyline is better. But it's like, yeah, but it's boring. It's boring wrestling. It's not for everyone. I guess what I'm trying to say.
Well, it's crazy that now the prices are the tickets are pretty high, and to think that
And
wrestling,
like the quality is bad, and I want to get to the point where it's like talking about SmackDown. The quality has been so bad in that show for the recent weeks. I think when they announced that Road Dogg was gonna be the head writer of the show, that show was ass, dude. I can't bear to watch it. The fact that you have so much potential there, and they're just still filling it with Solo Sikoa. Um, it's just boring, boring. It's like you have Andrade, you have Carmelo, people that are actually gonna put up banger, and they don't. It's That's how I feel.
who was the guy that you said was gonna be like the miss for the other brand?
I don't know. What did I say? I have a lot of ideas yet. I don't post it on threads.
Yeah, man. Yes, sir. You need to start doing so. I tagged you on last time on what you think about Josh Alexander.
Oh, to me, he's boring. I don't know. It's whatever to me. Don't think he's all that. But hey, good for him being the champion for Scott's promotion and collabing that, making that new collaboration with AEW. MLP, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, Maple Leaf
Wrestling.
Wrestling. MLP? What's the P for?
I don't know the promotion. Hold up.
Ah, interesting. I haven't looked closely into it. Nah, Maple Leaf. Honestly, I don't know, but it's
Maple
cool.
Leaf Pro. Yeah, MLP.
MLP Maple Leaf Pro. And honestly, I've looked at clips whenever they had events. It's not a bad venue. It's not a bad house. It's like you're watching Impact, right? But
Yeah.
except with like really, I don't want to say really good matches because I don't know what is TNA delivering now.
I don't know
You- They're
who
delivering.
watches that.
I
Who
don't watch
watches that shit?
TNA, bro. I don't have access to it. I don't got time for it either. But I know that there was a match recently between Dolph Ziggler and Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy, man. He was my hero growing up. But there's that match. I don't know what TNA's delivering these days. I know that there's a lot of cross talent happening with like the NXT main event scene going
Yeah.
into TNA, which is cool. Honestly, I think it's cool. It looks cool. It's just again, it's still hard to believe that it's still really crazy to see that at one point TNA and WWE were rivals, and now they're like they're partners. They're essentially allowing their development talent to get experience in other promotions and just to get a different sense of style into things. Or how much do you think WWE gets involved into their wrestlers for other promotions?
Can you say that again?
How 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 hands on do you think WWE is with their talent when they send them out to other promotions?
I genuinely feel like once they contract they I think they tell the other promotion like, hey, we need our guy to win. I feel like that's the mentality they have. It's like, yeah, you got to show why we're the best and why people from the indies need to go with us. Which, speaking of it, how I wonder how WWE ID is doing.
I was about to say that I don't have any background info on what's going on there.
I don't know anything what's going on there, so if anybody knows and wants to educate us, because that's the whole point, I want to be educated in this type of stuff before I even put words into my mouth. I want to know what's up with that. How's everything going well? Is it going well? Is it not?
I haven't heard much. I haven't heard much at all. Uh, I know that there has been a lot of conflicts with like booking creative decisions between the indie promotion and WWE, but I haven't heard that in a cool minute. Like I haven't heard how much it's changed the indies yet. You just hear who's WDID, but other than that, like, have we seen anything different since then? Like,
No,
have
to
we
be
heard any?
honest. Like I
I
said, I'm
don't know.
clueless on that.
It'd be interesting to see what WWE is doing with those programs. I know that I know WWE is doing really well with this new show, the reality show. What is it called? LFG?
Yeah, I think they're doing well on that. I'm not quite sure
It,
because I don't watch that.
isn't that crazy? Because how is that show doing good, but NXT from back, the NXT that came after ECW, that it flopped. Why? Why is it that LFG is doing good and that era of NXT sucked? Why do you think that?
Personally, as a kid, when I watched it, I hated it, dude. It just seemed too, this is from my recollection after ECW got canceled that week, and then the next week I turned on the TV, and I saw that, it just seemed ridiculous. But keep in mind, I did not know the wrestlers, because
Yeah,
like I said,
not the
how old was
booking.
I? I think I was like 9, 8? I did not know anything besides the WWE.
It was interesting. I actually liked it. I mean, maybe just because that was just me being young and just liking anything that was WWE, but I liked it. I was introduced to Wade Barrett. I was introduced to Justin Gabriel, who is now known as PJ Black, I believe. I don't know where you at, bro, but I hope you turn out soon. Uh, who else? Who else came out in that show? Loki, Cabal, Senshi, the that one. I want to describe him as respectfully as I can. He looks like he looks like he could he's MMA trained, very big in ROH. Sure, you remember him, right?
Yeah.
Bald. Yeah, he was there. If I remember correctly, he won season 2. Wade Barrett won season 1, but after John Cena, you just never really saw him go any further until he reached that bad news gimmick. And I think he was King of the Ring at one point. Now he's commentator. Not a bad career, to be honest. Don't you think?
It's not bad.
He achieved quite a bit. But yeah, NXT. I thought NXT was cool. I really liked it. And then until NXT just changed, like it went from WWE.com. Honestly, that was once SmackDown went to cable, NXT was all I watched. And you would just watch these kind of funny segments where you would have these so-called
Competition
rookies
shows.
doing competition obstacle shows, like if it was Wipeout or some shit, and you're like, that's I don't
Exactly.
know.
That's why I feel like I didn't like it, because it was just like, what am I watching? I didn't think NXT was gonna be like that. But keep in mind, we were kids who didn't know, and I didn't even know who Daniel Bryan was in that.
Oh,
And
it was
I'm
always
pretty sure,
interesting.
unks that there were during that time were educated and knew about his ROH run, knew who he was, and they were probably like flabbergasted at what he was from being ROH to this. I don't know. I would think
I'm
that
sure
would
there
be
was a lot
funny.
to add. I honestly, if I'm gonna keep it real, I did not know about Brian Danielson. I learned of him through WWE, and As a fan, I did my deep research myself, but it
I
was always interesting to
if
see
anybody
the
gets up
rivalry.
to this, I'm sorry. If anybody has gotten this far, to all the unks out there, what was your first impression when you had watched Danielson have these banger matches in ROH to end up in this
I need you to post that. I
show?
need you to post
Please. I'm
that.
pretty sure I'm gonna post it after we post this episode. Prior to posting this episode, I really want to know how these unks had, or what was their
I,
opinion? Were they just flabbergasted? Were they just like, what the fuck? Like, what was on your mind? Because I want to know. It's like if we watch.
like I said, for me, I didn't know, but we would like to know from the fans that have known Bryan Danielson since before WWE. What did you guys think of his start in WWE? What you think of him having that NXT run? I would like for you to comment that, or Flemex, how if you post that, who knows if maybe I'm thinking negative here, but what if we don't have him go this far?
Hopefully they do, but if they don't, we'll make them. We'll post it. I'll try to post it at the end of this recording to see what these unks have to say. But I'm actually interested in what because it is something that because I remember watching on YouTube where they posted like the first rookie show, and then in my mind I was like, I wonder what these fans during that time thought about it.
The fact that he lost as well was even crazier too. He was dude. Wade Barrett won the season, not Bryan Danielson,
That's crazy. That's really crazy.
and it was mainly because of the whole thing that he was constantly being ridiculed by the Miz.
Hey man, that Miz feud always hits, huh?
That Miz feud, man. I want to go back to the conversation, man. Who's that one person you said is gonna have that Miz role, but in a different roster?
I don't know, who was it?
I'm not sure if you said Penta, or Chad.
Oh no, I didn't say any of those names.
Who was it?
I don't recall saying those names.
I'm trying to figure it out, but I'm trying to throw in names just to give you an idea.
Do you know what name I said? I don't recall.
Trying to remember, but we always talk about the Miz having that, being that, being that station.
We'll try to remember. But overall, I think this is a good time to conclude it. And I need to rethink it, and I'm gonna have to post that on Threads.
We need you active on Threads for that makes you gotta lock in, man. We gotta interact with our listeners here.
Yes.
But again, we know that you don't watch none of the products religiously. I would like to talk about. I would like to talk about Gabe Kidd in the Death Rider storyline.
Oh, yes. I forgot. We gotta talk about it. How his promos in New Japan have legit been just trash talking, like, oh, New Japan is sucking on TK's, you know, and New Japan is being shut down, or not shut down, but essentially it's being taken from AEW, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But now you see him working in AEW, and I did see some response on New Japan um followers, I guess, pretty much saying like, what the fuck, huh,
What did he
huh?
just shit trash about AEW and every other company that was in New Japan?
Exactly.
It just seems like the possibility is he's gonna leave New Japan for AEW at this point. Cause how likely is New Japan gonna pay Gabe Kidd what AEW would pay? You know what I'm saying? Like,
He's 100% going to. Sorry for being loud. I did pretty much see on Twitter somebody, I forgot what, talking about why isn't David Finley being put in that role of what Gabe Kidd is. And one of the interesting thing is because they know that since his dad, and I don't know, I also saw mentioned brother working for the WWE, they know that he's going to the WWE, and that's why they don't want him to be anything related to AEW. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they also kind of want to save him for Jay White. But correct me if I'm wrong.
We never got that.
So
Yeah.
they're not gonna push
And it doesn't help that
Rose.
Jay White is injured too. He's injured again, unfortunately. We're never gonna get that David Finley versus Jay White rivalry. Definitely feel like that was a rivalry that should have been bounced back to on a Forbidden Door pay-per-view, because that is the only time it would make sense to entwine New Japan and AEW storylines, because also, Forbidden Door. Unless there's a way to also involve Consejo, Rev Pro, any other in the AEW or the pro wrestling or the best wrestleverse, all partnered up and going to that pay per view. I don't know. I feel like before Consejo got involved, I feel like David Finley versus Jay White should have been a rivalry that should have bounced back to in a Forbidden Door pay per view. I once pitched that during the first Continental Classic. I was hoping that Jay White would win, and in the process, because you heard Tony Khan say that the Continental Classic champion or the crown, the Continental Crown, right?
Yeah.
The Triple Crown, because they were combining the New Japan Strong and the ROH champion, all three belts into. Apparently, they're gonna merge it, but they broke him apart. I guess it wasn't gonna work. I don't know what the agenda was, but the way it was sold to me, I think, and I want to hear if other people took it like that, but it would be kind of like an ambassador brand, kind of like how what the international championship should be.
Correct.
Um,
Yeah.
so that was like, okay, Jay White could win that title and have these reruns, these throwback, these back and forths from Japan to AEW, but it just never happened. Maybe something that happened backstage, or maybe he didn't want to do that. That's something that we don't know. But the point is, it's something that, again, it should have happened a while back, because there was just a cliffhanger to how Jay White left New Japan. He was just bumped in the head by David Finley, and he took over Bullet Club. And then all of a sudden, Jay White debuts for AEW, and he's like, you know what? I'm still Bullet Club, and I'm bringing it here in AEW. You know who comes first? You know who came first? Juice Robinson, and then came the Guns. And look where it's at right now. You don't know what's gonna happen in the future, because you have seen throughout the 5 years of AEW, you've seen a lot of things have a lot of they had a lot of pivoting that you were just kind of like, it just never happened. Like, there was a point where we could have gotten a Los Ingobernables run, never did. Probably never gonna happen. Who knows? Anytime
Yeah.
sooner, we don't
I don't
see it
think
coming.
so. I don't think so.
Bullet Club Gold, neither. I don't know. Juice Robinson is hurt. Jay White is hurt, and it's only the Guns, and the Guns are just catering. So it's just a lot of things that you're kind of like, wow. Like, you just don't see. You just by seeing the existence of AEW, you kind of feel that certain things are not gonna happen. Like, whatever you're seeing right now is what's gonna progress going further. We've already had Ospreay for like a couple years now. Swerve, Hangman. Who else? Who else is up there? MJF.
Correct.
Who else is up there? I feel like I'm missing another name.
Hangman?
No, I mentioned them already. But those names that we see there, they're the ones waving the flag. They're the ones that are the faces of the company. Whichever the plans are for each of them getting the title reign, that's totally up to Tony Khan. You know, that's out of our control. But other than that, what could we really add on Flemex? All I could really say is that with Gabe Kidd in Death Riders, there's a lot of I can briefly go through my threads and read people giving their explanation as to why that happened. There's people saying that BC and Death Riders never officially teamed up, but apparently there is a possibility that Bullet Club and Death Riders might merge, or that Jon Moxley, given that David Finlay could leave for WWE, as you mentioned, Jon Moxley could take over as Bullet Club, which would be pretty interesting. I don't know if you would think that. Like, imagine maybe he would be the type of guy to go back and forth to Japan and whatnot. Then there's I don't know, I probably missed it. I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter, but did you see if the Bucks made a deal with Kidd?
No. I don't think I did.
Okay, so that's another thing they mentioned. So again, so the Bucks trying to align with Death Riders to be on Death Riders' good side and not be attacked. Then there's because Pac is injured, so they brought Kidd to substitute. So then there's how Gabe Kidd looks up to Jon Moxley. Kidd has issues with Omega, so I guess they're gonna have another match. Is another speculation. Yeah, that's all that those are the things I've just gotten answered from my post. What do you think based on what I've read to you?
Personally, I'm a fan of Gabe Kidd, so I just think it's. I mean, I think I told you this way long ago too, where we were talking about how he was gonna end up being AEW bound.
100%. He's those guys that I could see having a good match with Rouge, but like they got the similar brawling style
Yeah.
wrestling. But yeah, those are things that are happening in AEW. I'm not interested because they made a segment of it on Collision, so looking forward to Wednesday and to see what's gonna happen. But anyway, people, listeners, we will start wrapping up. Thank you very much for listening. If you made it this far, Flemex, what would you like to say?
That Cena, you better lock in or whatever, because you are giving me no personality and giving me terrible matches that I don't even want to watch, not even in clips by on Twitter.
Man, I mean, all you just see is Cena just throwing cheap shots. He's not really wrestling. His punches look fun now.
It's just been goofy. But anyways, thank you guys. If you guys listen to the whole thing, I appreciate every single one of you guys. I appreciate the support. Hopefully we'll record this Wednesday, like always scheduled, and we'll try to post on Fridays. That's the plan.
Thank you very
Anything
much.
else you want to add up?
No, not really. We are looking forward to. We're gonna keep an eye and ear open on the news on what's going on. We're gonna bring it all together to next week's episode. We'll see you next week. See you.